This is Tom Albright with AVNation with an AVNation special taking a look at Sony Pro. And with us is Kianna Pompa from Sony Professional. Welcome, ma'am.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we've hung out with Sony quite a bit here in the last few months. Most recently at Integrated Systems Europe. Coming up, we'll see you guys at several different locations throughout the country and throughout the world. But I wanted to take a moment here and kind of reflect back on where Sony has been, the kind of the most recent evolution and some of the things that you guys have been doing. First and foremost, your DV LED, direct view LED product, and how you guys differentiate yourself. What makes Sony's DV LED portfolio different from the competitors?
I think that's a great question. I think at our core, our mantra is seeing is believing. So the biggest thing that sets us apart is our exceptional image quality. So we have 60 years of display experience backed into this product. We're using an X1 processor, so we do have our own compute power running this direct view LED display. That gives us the ability to have really great accurate color reproduction, high contrast, deep blacks, things of those nature. And I know that I can talk about it and boast about it all that I want, but really, like I said, seeing is believing. So we have lots of different locations where you can see this direct view LED in real life. If you have an opportunity to join us at Infocom, at ISC, we also have demo spaces in San Diego and Los Angeles, and more popping up around the US as well. Reaching out to your local account manager to get that experience is really like what it's all about. So I would say the second thing that sets us apart, and this is going to be just all around within our whole product portfolio, is reliability. The coolest thing about our direct view LED technology is that if you look at other ways that we sell this product, we always allocate for spec. We always, when we do a purchase, we allocate for at least minimum 5% spare. So this helps us if there's any failure on your LED modules, you need a replacement. We've all known that we've walked through the airport or somewhere where we have a large view LED wall, go through the Las Vegas Strip, and there's an LED module out, and it's like the worst thing, right? And it takes forever to get a lift there, to send someone there to swap them out. Well, we still have that fail safe. We're going to have 5% spare on site for you to remove the module and replace it. I think the cool thing about ours is I know that I've seen others, they use like a vacuum or something special. Ours is just a really simple suction cup, and they're really durable. So if you do need to replace, you have those on site. And another risk here with direct view LED is that you're spending thousands of dollars to basically keep this device running. And say, for example, you want to expand your LED or you run out of that 5% spare, you're kind of out of luck. Most manufacturers say, okay, well, if you need more replacements, because they're not from the same quote unquote LED lot, we cannot guarantee color accuracy and color matching based on like the life of the product you already have existing. And I think that's something super cool about our CLED technology, is that we can actually hot swap those LEDs and then copy the data of that color match directly onto the new replacement LED. So you do not have to have 5% spare. In the future, if you want to purchase more, you can definitely do that, and we will color match. So that's something really, really amazing that sets us apart.
Kianna, you mentioned the 60-year legacy. Obviously, Sony has been around for a long time. How does that 60-year legacy figure in to the image quality and the reliability of the I almost said CLED, of the Crystal LED line?
So we have the X1 processor built in. So as far as the LED technology goes, you do have to have a processor to run all of this. So the processor chip is built in. So it has a full database of everything, of all of our technology for the past 6 years. And we keep constantly improving this chipset that gives us like dynamic range, motion flow, clarity. It supports HDR. So basically we're taking the image and processing it through all of our years of experience and technology to give you like the best feature set. So I don't know how many of you have gone into an LED experience and it's jittery. With our motion flow, we reduce that. So a lot of the stuff that we built into our BRAVIA displays have gone directly into our Crystal LED technology as well.
You mentioned the fact that we saw you guys at at ISC. Certainly, ISC had a number of AI components to it. Talk for a second about what Sony is doing with AI in relation to your cameras.
I think it's one of the coolest technologies that we have, honestly. In my past life as a sales support engineer, it was one of my favorite things to demo. We have our SRG camera line and our BRC camera line that support both AI-built camera tracking technology. The flagship model right now is our SRG A40, A12. The only difference between these two models is the zoom, so 12 times zoom and 40 times zoom. We're also expanding that same concept on our BRC line, where we're going to have the option for like interchangeable lenses, and we have tracking built into these cameras as well. In the past, we've gone from having an external appliance that has to do the compute. Now the compute is all built into an all-in-one camera chassis, which is amazing. These cameras are accessible via IP address. So all you have to do is go into the IP address and configure. And it's basically real-time image processing for subject tracking and autofocus. They're recognized by, obviously, AI. It's like a database learning system that tracks the subject's face, eyes, and actual like shape. So it's a combination of all three. So in a sense, it doesn't get confused a lot of the times where we've done testing where we have two subjects, and a lot of our competition will lose track of the subject if they move too fast and switch to the next one, or get confused on which one is which. With our AI built in, it's very, very reliable to track that single person that you did.
Kianna, you mentioned the tracking. You guys just released a new firmware update. Talk about what the addition of that, well, really the addition of the number of people you can track with that firmware update.
Yeah, definitely. So with the new firmware update, we can shift from just single person tracking to up to 8 people maximum tracking. So we can keep 8 people in frame. And the beauty of this is now we have a facial database. So in the past, it was automatic. You set up a target position point, and anyone that comes into frame will be tracked. We can definitely still do that. So it's like ease of workflow. As soon as someone hops into frame, they're automatically tracked. But if you have a more of a bigger production and you want to be a little bit more accurate, what we could do is upload a facial database of your face with your name and set priority. So say, for example, if you do have a set of 8 people you want to track on stage, think house of worship or a concert or a show, whatever it might be, if you have set priority to who you want to focus on, it can automatically switch to them or keep them all 8 people in the center frame. So it's really cool. So 8 people maximum, and then facial database to set priority.
You talked about the move from a secondary device processing this, and all of that processing moving onto the camera. How important is that?
So I think it's so important because in the past, what would happen is that we had to specify a specific PC with a specific output, and there would always be issues on like, I can't access this, or does my PC support this functionality? Is it compatible? The beauty of this is going to be fewer points of failure, low cost to entry. So we're not having to replace another PC if something doesn't work out. And then if something does fail, all we're doing is replacing the camera. You have a warranty on your camera, so you'll just get a replacement, and you don't have to worry about replacing the PC every single time. So really, really easy to use. And on top of that, you still need to have some type of operating system that has a web browser in it to access the device, but you only need one to access many, right? It's all IP based, so you can control as many as you'd like, but no specific specs other than a web browser. A
number of years ago, you guys introduced the BRAVIA line. Talk about the different types and the different features that each different line has, right? You've got one that has identical bezels. You have one that has lower glare. So talk about the different features of the different BRAVIA lines.
Yeah, so BRAVIA is probably one of the products I grew up with in my years here at Sony. So we started selling the BRAVIA line when I started with Sony 7 years ago now. So essentially, we started off with our BZ35F series, and since then has grown into one of our flagship models and our highest selling product within our product category. So it's a really big deal. It's a product that I know and love. So starting off right now where we're on our L series models. We have 4 different ranges. So I'll start from the beginning. Entry level model is our EZ20L series. We have the ability to have 43 inches all the way up to 85 inches in this product category. I call it entry level because it's still 16.7 operated. We still support portrait and landscape, and it's a 3-year advanced exchange warranty. I know I talked about warranty and support on our C-LED model earlier. It's going to be the exact same thing on our BRAVIA displays, 3 years, and it's an advanced exchange. So if you have any issues with your BRAVIA, reach out to Pro Support, and we're shipping you a replacement unit in advance before we receive the defective one. So Sony's there every step of the way, and you can feel confident about your purchase. So the EZ20L line is entry level. All of our models basically have the same chassis except for the EZ20L. You'll still have the Sony logo branding in front. It has a entry level chipset. So we're still an Android operating system, but what I call an entry level chipset is that the CPU is not as powerful. Right now we are promoting a lot of our partnerships with digital signage partners, and a lot of the times if you are running projects that have multi-region for digital signage, like say for example you have 2 videos running simultaneously with an RSS feed and maybe like a Twitter feed, that's like a lot of compute power for a single display if you run everything on board. So I would always recommend jumping up to our BZ series line. So essentially the exact same thing, still Android operating system, but that CPU is a little bit beefier. So with the BZ30L series, we have the opportunity to have a 32-inch all up to 98 inches in the same product category, so one can truly standardize on a single display. This one is now 24/7 instead of 16/7, and it's also brighter than the EZ20L series. So with this model, it's very friendly to any of our digital signage partners. We support everything on board, so that's really important. When you look at our BZ series line, what we're trying to do with our Android operating system is basically, again, same concept of fewer points of failure. So you're not using an external appliance to run digital signage content. You could do it now directly onto the display by just downloading an Android application to run those types of solutions. And then what we also have is low cost to entry, right? You're only purchasing a BRAVIA display instead of purchasing an external player. Now, if you are a super user and you really are using your BRAVIA displays for strictly digital signage, we do have the BZ35L model that is very similar. It's going to look exactly the same frame, the same chassis, 24/7 operation. The biggest difference here is that we have 32 gigs of storage instead of 16. Wow. Why is this important? With our digital signage partners, what we could do is a download and play feature. So for example, if you are running content, I have a really cool use case where we're using displays on a ferry boat. Well, when the ferry goes out to sea, they're not able to have access to the internet. So what we'll do is download the content directly onto that display. And then when it gets back to its home base, when it connects to the internet, it can get any updates. But essentially, all the content lives on the display and just gets updates from the cloud when necessary. So really cool, especially if you have like network limitations. And then last but not least is probably our favorite flagship model. It's our BZ40L series, supplemented with the 53L series that comes in 98. This model is only available from 55 inches all the way up to 98 inches. So this one has our deep black non-glare, which is a fancy way of saying haze coating. We wanted to coin it as a different experience because Japan really took an extra effort to make a unique technology special to only that 40L series. So in the haze market, we see it a lot where we need it based on anti-reflectivity. So all of us have gone to restaurants where we have that digital signage menu and you go and you order, but then you get that reflectiveness of like the lights or what's going out on the outside through the windows, and it's hard to read that menu. So what we've done is added haze coating, but we do haze a little differently. So with our deep black non-glare, we're not sacrificing on off-axis viewing or areas with high ambient light, the black level. So again, just like that whole mantra of seeing is believing in picture quality, we're keeping the blacks and we're also keeping the content super bright and color accurate. And again, challenge you to seeing this in real life, like just like we can see CLED in our different demo spaces, you can also see our deep black non-glare in our demo spaces as well. We also have a super awesome demo program where if you reach out to your account manager, we can send you a 2-week demo unit for you to see firsthand in your office space or in your restaurant, etc., wherever you want to place it. We do offer those types of services.
So I have seen this in person at trade shows, and trade shows are very unforgiving when it comes to lighting. So if you get a chance, absolutely see it in a trade show environment, because it definitely stands up. Kianna, you mentioned Android there a number of times. I want to dig into that for a second. Yeah. The back end of the BRAVIA line is based on Android. Talk about why that's important for the IT and the AV end user.
I can go on and on about this, so reel me in if I go too much off topic. But first and foremost, I think that the beauty of the Android operating system is that we are kind of a crossover. We can have professional solutions like digital signage, but we can also have the consumer applications. So say if like you're looking at a hospitality environment, we have a lot of education clients where they're putting this in meeting room spaces and like housing, like off-campus housing or student housing, where they want students to be able to come in and, work on their homework or look at content as a meeting room space, but it's like social. So if they want to watch Netflix and Hulu, they can, right? But they want to be able to control these functionalities on the back end. So not leave it free for all. So this is where the beauty of pro settings comes in and our pro mode model. So what we do is we create a custom menu for professionals only available on our BZ and EZ series line called Pro Settings. In this Pro Settings menu, what we could do, thanks to the Android operating system, is basically create our own control system in the back end. So say, for example, if we want to limit those end users to make it completely tamper-proof, we can disable IR, we can disable screencasting, we can enable or disable the applications as we see fit. And we can specify this is only for this specific use. So whether that's corporate, education, in a hospital, in a retail environment, we can make those necessary adjustments. The beauty of this is that it can be exported and imported either via USB stick, or now with the help of our device provisioning tool, which is a free tool. It's like a one-time use. You specify a profile of, say, I want all of these settings enabled or disabled, and apply. So as soon as a display hits the network, whether that's Wi-Fi or wired, it will be able to pull that profile, and it's already configured for you. So it's saving us so much time, especially on the install end, where we'd get installers asking us questions on the different feature sets. Although we're very feature rich, it does require someone to learn about these features and learn why they're important. So if you are taking advantage of it, it only requires one person to create that profile and then another person to hang it now because of the device provisioning tool. Well, we could take it one step further now with our device management platform. So they're basically kind of like a sister solution. So we have one step for provisioning, but now if you want to take it a step further, and not only do you want to provision, but you want to control and monitor these displays once you finish with the install, we do have a cloud-based platform solution where it allows you to not only provision, but control and monitor the display live in real time from the cloud. So just keep in mind that it is a cloud-based solution. It does require you to have the display on the network if you use our device management platform.
Well, let's kind of dig into that, because one of the things that a lot of IT directors that we talk to are looking for companies that can work with other companies. Talk about how Sony works with their partners and other people that may be on the network to leverage Sony's API.
Yeah, definitely. So same with the device management platform and our device provisioning tool. What we could do with our partners is we can pre-install the applications using both methods during this zero-touch provisioning process. So say, for example, you're working with any of our partners that we have like say Corbett, Spectrio, AppSpace, we can pre-configure the display and install it using our device provisioning tools. On top of that, what we've launched now officially is our cloud API, basically access points,
Okay.
if you would say. So what we're doing is with our partners, we're giving them access to our API that we've used to build our device management platform. So one of the biggest things I've seen when I do these discussions about device control and monitoring and how that's important is that they don't want to see yet another tool they have to pay. And even if it's not a paying issue, it's like, we have 6 different logins for 6 different things. How
And
do we
6 different
standardize
pieces of,
that?
you know, 6 different interfaces.
Exactly. So even if it's not the cost that's prohibitive, it's like managing all of these users on multiple platforms becomes difficult.
Yeah.
And then it's also training them on multiple platforms. So what they would like to see in the future is just one single platform for all their device needs. So I think that's the beauty of it, is that Sony took a different approach on having these APIs accessible to end users and our partners, to start developing for Sony displays if they see fit. So what we're doing with our partners right now is that we just launched the cloud APIs that they have access to. So our hope is that now, like, partners like AppSpace, Corbett, Navori can build in cloud control into their platform. So say, for example, those digital signage partners can now power on and off the display. They have access to those pro settings remotely. They can set the initial app to be that digital signage partner every single time. They can input switch. They can do multiple configurations based on those API list calls. So really, really amazing, and it's something unique to the Sony technology.
Very good. Well, Kianna, I appreciate your time. Kianna Pompa from Sony. If somebody wants to find out more about Sony Pro, how do they do that?
They just have to go to our website, pro.sony.
All right, very good. Kianna Pompa from Sony. For us, for AVNation, go by our website, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv, and find more programs like this. All that and more at avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
This is AV.
This
is AV Nation.
This is AV Nation.